Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bella and I am a seamstress. I have been really busy with other things going on the past few weeks. I had COVID and was just working a lot in other areas, and so I have not been sewing. The weather right now is hot, like hot. I got sunburnt yesterday. It is officially feeling like summer, so we need to make some things for our summer wardrobe. So I think for this video, we're just gonna go through my fabric, see what I have, see what I haven't done anything with yet, see what's sort of on my wish list of things I want to make, and then I'm just gonna sew something, bring you along with me. Okay, I think I've sort of decided what I wanna do. I don't know how practical this dress is gonna be, but whatever. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone with actually like wearing the things that I make out, because what are they doing just sitting in here? If I look crazy, then so what? That's fun too, right? So it's this like stretchy baby blue lace, and I'm thinking to do like basically full length and then kind of have like a little bit of a cowl. I've already done this dress. What am I saying? I'm gonna change it a little bit, I promise, but if you watch the video of the hot pink bias cut slip dress, sort of like that. I didn't really have as much of a cowling effect on that one as I wanted to though, but I think because this fabric is a little bit heavier, it might work. And then I think I'm gonna do a slit on one leg and then maybe gather up the one side a little bit. Then the other consideration I have with this is the lining. I don't know that I want to line this, but I'm wondering if I have room to enough fabric to do it twice over. Instead of doing a solid lining, just do 2 layers of this fabric, because I don't mind if it's a little bit sheer. I just think that 1 layer might be a little bit much. So that would leave me with a tube like this thin. So that obviously doesn't work. What do I do? Okay, well, I'm gonna start by cutting like a chunk off the bottom of here that I won't need, and then we'll see. The test with this project will be seeing if I can remember to also film a TikTok of this dress, because every time I make a YouTube video, I don't remember to do a TikTok. Every time I do a TikTok, I don't remember to do a YouTube video. So I'm saying this so that I remember. I'm gonna start by cutting 1 strip out of this chunk that I just took off the bottom, and that is going to be the fabric for the 2 straps. I'm just gonna do that now and get it out of the way before I forget, and then use all my fabric, because I do that way too often. The next thing that I'm gonna do is take this main piece of fabric and I'm gonna fold it in half, and then I'm gonna use my bust, waist, and hip measurements, as well as top bust to about my ankles, which is where I want the dress to end. I'm gonna use all of those measurements to cut out 2 pieces. They'll probably just be exactly the same. I'm not really worried about having like a precise fit, because this fabric is so stretchy and I don't want this dress to be super tight. So I think if I cut both the front and the back exactly the same, it's gonna be just fine. So because of that, I can just fold this directly in half and then sort of trace out my measurements and just start cutting. I think what I'll do for my lining dilemma is I'm just gonna use this extra piece as a facing to go around the bust area. That's really the only area I feel like I need more coverage. And then if I want to wear this as like a cover up or something like that in the summer over a bathing suit, then it's not like a complete dress. It's still a little bit sheer. So you could wear like a contrasting color under this or something like that. This is what the dress looks like right now, cut into 2 pieces. And you might think this looks a little exaggerated and weird in terms of fit, but this is what I'm always saying is such a benefit to sewing, is that you can truly customize everything to exactly your body. So if you bought a dress like this from the store, if you just paid, you know, like fast fashion prices, chances are, since it's stretchy, it would probably just be cut almost straight. But sewing something yourself means that you can literally tailor every last millimeter to your body. So for me, my waist measurement and my hip measurement are like worlds apart. My hip measurement is a lot larger in proportion to my waist, and so they usually, if I'm looking at size charts for garments, they fall in completely different size brackets with like many number sizes in between. And so that's why I like drafting things myself. Just cutting things myself, because very few people's bodies are actually within the size measurements of a size chart, you know, in terms of proportion. So with something like a dress where you have to include your bust, waist, and hip measurement and height potentially, that's really hard to fit into one of those brackets when you're buying a pattern. And I am not good at adapting patterns or like drafting or scaling or anything like that. So this is just a really amazing option for everyone, honestly, because all of our bodies are so different. So that is why I am such an advocate for making your own clothes. I just sewed both of those front and back pieces together, and I really like the way it fits. I do need to take a little bit in around the hips, but I was being generous. I usually add about an inch seam allowance, and then if I'm working with a stretchy material like this, I do a zigzag stitch, almost like overlocking the very edge of the fabric. So I don't actually need that much, but it's just, I get scared of cutting things too narrow and then not having enough fabric to work with. So I really like the way that the top fits though, because I think what had gone wrong with the last cowl neck I tried to do was that I didn't leave enough fabric going across the top of the bust, and this seems to look like it's gonna drape really nicely. So fingers crossed that all works out. So speaking of the bust, now I'm going to take this piece of fabric that we cut off at the beginning, and I'm just gonna make two facings to match the top measurement of the dress. Again, if you watch the bias cut dress, that's a little bit more of a tutorial, so if you want to learn how to do all that, then you can go watch that video. It's really simple though. I'm just gonna cut this to the exact same width as the dress was, and since it's just straight across, it's gonna be super easy. Sew it together just like you would a front and a back piece, and then stitch along the top, turn it inside out just like a lining, and I think that will give enough coverage for the bust, hopefully. I forgot to mention, I stopped the one side seam just at the hip, so hopefully I'm gonna try to ruche everything to one side so that the dress kind of shifts a little bit, and then the slit that was the side seam will be in the center of my thigh. I hope it's gonna work. I really don't know. I don't have a reference photo or anything. I'm just freewheeling. So okay, I just sewed this together so you can see what I mean. It's literally just a tube that's the exact same measurement as the bust. So super simple. We're just gonna sew those on in a circle, turn it inside out. This is what I'm working with here. So I've marked out with pins on this dress from one side down like this to hopefully meet here where the slit is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this elastic thread in my bobbin, and then I'm going to sew along the guided line I did with the pins and sort of end where the slit starts, so that hopefully it will go in the front. I'm gonna test it out on a little strip of fabric first, just to make sure that the fabric doesn't freak out when I use this thread. What I always forget with this thread is whether it shows up on the top or the bottom, because it doesn't matter how long I've been sewing, I always make that mistake. Okay, it shows up on the bottom. I should have known that, but I'm stupid. So this is sort of an example of how it's gonna look when it goes across the dress. If I had the forethought and actually knew I wanted to do this, I would have put the elastic thread on before I sewed the front and back together, but I didn't know I wanted to. Just to make it easier, since we're dealing with a tube, I'm taking the arm off my sewing machine so that I can like just slide this in. Remember to back stitch this. Please don't eat my fabric. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna get started on the straps now. I cut two 2-inch strips. I'm just gonna turn them over, stitch them, turn them inside out. I'm gonna go back to a straight stitch for these because I don't want them to have any stretch. So I hope that this will work out the way I want it to. Okay, now, no. This is not working. Okay, we're going back to zigzag stitch. My fabric wasn't exactly cooperating, so what I ended up doing was cutting that 2-inch strip in half, and then I was left with 1-inch strips, so I folded them over, and then I did a zigzag stitch in the center and kind of stretched the fabric as I went. So I ended up with this really like frayed, sort of jagged look, which I kind of like, but I'm going to put the facing in now and set the straps into it so we can see how it looks. And this is how the dress turned out. I think it's really, really cute. As per usual, there is a few things I would have maybe done a little bit differently, but all in all, for just a quick project, a light dress to throw on in the summertime, I think it's really cute. I especially love the way that the elastic ruching turned out. I think it looks so amazing. It kind of unintentionally created this really nice geometric detail where the elastic thread meets the side seam, and it created this really beautiful triangle, which I love. I also really love the way that the neckline turned out. I think that this was finally enough fabric for a proper sort of cowling effect. And I really like how just simple and casual the straps are as well. You know, if you've been following my content for a while, I love a tie-up thin strap. So this dress really checks all the boxes for me. I know this wasn't like a full-on tutorial, but if you want to learn how to make something similar to this and just sort of augment a few little details to make this dress, you can go back and watch the bias cut slip dress tutorial that I did, and that one's a little bit more in depth. I'll show you how to take your measurements and cut your pattern from that, how to make the straps, the facings, all that kind of stuff, and just generally like the order of steps that this goes in. But I just thought I felt like sewing something today, so I wanted you guys to hang out with me while I did. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this from me. And if you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out here and you want to say thank you, you can buy me a coffee. The link will be down in the description below, and if not, that's okay too. Just give the video a thumbs up or don't. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here next time with some more summer clothing tutorials.